Hey, what's up guys? My name's Squid and welcome back to the Quantum SMP server. We are here back at our beautiful starter base where we are chilling by the docks, and today we've got big plans indeed, because we need storage. Right now we've got a very tiny storage up there, just a few barrels, and that's not enough for all that we need. So what we are going to do this episode is we are going to build an entire new build just for storage, and it's going to be over here in this general direction, because what we are planning on doing is having some sort of bridge coming out of this tower and connecting to the other one. That way we can always spawn up here and move our way towards there. But something's missing. Look. I don't know if you remember last episode, but we had a ton of beds. And I mean, we had a lot of beds, and someone broke them all, except for this one, which I kept on me. So I'm kind of worried about where all our beds went, but it's okay. We're going to deal with this because we did clearly say, we told this person that if he messes with our beds anymore, we're going to deal with him. So we're going to have a little talk with him, and whoever he is, he better watch out, because we're coming with you. We're coming. You better be ready. Now, the bed problem aside, what we are actually going to do to build this is we are going to have a little guide out here, because we need to have a little marker showing us where this is going to go. And what I'm thinking is we're going to have a little channel right here between the storage facility somewhere out there and the docks. That way boats will be able to come in and out, maybe go around this. Something that's going to be out here kind of looking like an oil rig sticking out of the water, but we are still going to stick with the wood theme, because we're going to split up our base into two halves, kind of the older builds, which are going to be made out of wood and resources like that, and farther out near the shopping district, we're going to have more modern builds made out of concrete and all those cool resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out a little bit of dirt here, and this will be our scaffolding, because we are actually going to connect this, and this is going to be where the bridge is going to be, going out diagonally. So we just need a little reference about where this bridge is going to be, and hopefully it's going to turn out beautifully, because we don't want to go too far out and it's going to be too deep. So we're just going to head into this general direction until we find a good location. I've just finished building our first support. As you can see, these are primarily made out of andesite, and they go all the way down to the bottom. So what I'm planning to do is have 4 of these. I'm going to have one over there, one right here, and one farther there. And the nice thing is going to be at different height levels, which is going to give it more of an organic feel and not man-made. It's going to look like these were placed here and not someone filled in the entire seafloor and built these. And what we're going to have is we're going to have the spruce strip logs coming out of the top and supporting the actual storage room itself on the upper level. And what I'm hoping is having something hanging down, and that's going to be connecting to the starter base, and that's how you're going to get into the storage room. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to build up the last 3 support beams, and then we should be able to start. Now these may look really thin right now, but what you're probably going to do is have some supports connecting the different beams on each side. Maybe some U-shaped supports would look really nice. But for now, let's finish up building these nice supports, and we should be done pretty quickly. There we have it. We've got our beautiful supports in place, and I am actually loving this just because they're not all on the same level, which gives them that really natural feel, especially this one, which goes a lot deeper than all the others, just because there's this weird little area and under the ocean where it goes a lot deeper than everywhere else. So overall, this is looking great, and now we just need to raise up the supports and place a platform on top where the storage room will be located. Now I kind of want a round shape for it, but I don't want it to be too round and perfectly circled, because this is kind of supposed to look like it was thrown together by a bunch of people. They just had a bunch of leftover wood maybe, and we want kind of that story behind it. So we can't make it look perfectly symmetrical and all that. So we're probably going to have some sort of oval shaped on top, something that looks really nice. But we are going to start building up these supports, and then we're going to place a platform on there and find out some ways to decorate this to make it look beautiful. Welcome back everyone, and we are here on our beautiful storage building where we finally built up some sort of platform up here. So as you can see, we've got the pillars coming up here and connecting to these little sections would stick out of a main circle. So right in here, we're inside the main circle area, which has got a decent amount of space, and we've got crafting tables in the middle, because what we're planning on doing is having chests right here lined up just like this. Look at this. There we go. That way we'll have tons of storage. We can even stack the chests, put more on top and even more on top, and we'll label them. That way we'll have plenty of storage room, and we'll also have room in the middle if we want to do crafting, smelting. We'll set up some sort of stuff in the middle. That way we have plenty of resources and all of the materials we need. We'll have all the crafting benches and all the important stuff. And now for the edges, I haven't quite decided what I want to put out here. We might keep these as kind of like elytra landing pads. Once we get one, we can just swoop right in, grab our stuff. But we might also have a few which will be like connecting bridges. If we have other islands in the distance, we can connect them to this. But right now what I'm planning to do is have a little thing underneath here, another little building underneath this main platform, and that's where we'll connect our starter base to. Have a bridge kind of hanging down and over connecting here. Then you'll climb up, get inside the storage room, get all the items you need, and then you'll be good to fly away or just jump off. Since we are above water, you can just hop down into the water below. Now what we do need to do is add more details. I'm deciding to stick with this spruce and granite pattern along with these jungle trapdoors, which go really well with the granite, and we are going to have to figure out something to put some supports on these because they look really thin. They do not look like they could support this building at all. And we also need to build up these walls, figure out if we want to put railings here, and put on our last few details to make it look beautiful. Hello everyone, and we are back with a lot more progress than last time. As you saw, I was just on the roof of our new storage building, and if we come inside, it's looking pretty great. Now, what I've done is that each of these are little entrances. They've got the little staircase. You come in here. You've got the nice little supports up here using the fence gates and the normal fences. And in each of these areas is where we're going to have all our chests. And we can have signs up here labeling what's in each chest. And we can even have signs on the chest, although the only problem with that is it may be a lot harder to open the chest if there's a sign on it. So we still need to figure that out. But overall, this is looking really good. And now all that we have to do is make the second floor, because we have a ton of chests down there, but we also need stuff to use it. So up here, I'm thinking we're going to put furnaces and all the other different workbenches that you can get. Just that way, if we need anything, we can always head up here, get some of them, and use them. Now, we're not going to make this one as big as the one below because we don't want this to be too high, because then it's going to look really awkward compared to everything else, especially since this is massive compared to our teeny tiny starter base down there. So what we are going to do instead is build up a small room up here, and each of these little areas where, again, we're just going to put all the different workbenches we're going to need. Anything, we can have tons of good stuff up here, and we're going to have a nice little roof up there right on top of our heads, and we're going to put a bunch of details up there. All that is left now is probably adding tiny little details that make things look better. I think we're going to have cranes hanging over, maybe piles of rubble down there. We might grab like some of the rocks, put it on one of these platforms up here, make it look better. And of course, we still need to fix the support, because by looking at this, it just looks really awkward having these 4 little wooden poles holding up this massive structure made out of giant pieces of wood and stone. So we're going to have to fix that, make it look really detailed, and hopefully it's going to turn out beautiful and look really good in the end, because I'm liking how it's going so far. We have just finished up the second floor of our beautiful storage room, and I'm loving the palette we have. Just the granite goes so well with the spruce and the dark oak. They just fit so well together. Now, I haven't put all the chests in yet, but I have separated this area so we have a way to get upstairs. No lighting yet, but it's a pretty small area, so we should be able to fit everything we need. We won't have much extra space, but we really don't need that much up here except for a few like crafting tables. We might split off one section, all furnaces, maybe another will be all the workbenches, and we'll just be able to separate them into what we need. And the last thing that we really need to do at this point is fill in everything. And I really want to add a bunch of details, especially on the top. I'm thinking we can add maybe some sort of antennas, or that could be really cool to add, or maybe some sort of crane system, because it would be really nice to have some sort of crane hanging over, maybe carrying some of the rocks too, because we're gonna have boats coming through here, and we might want something hanging the rocks off the edge. We might just attach that to the edge or stick another tower out of the water for that, but I haven't completely decided yet. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna craft a bunch of chests, fill up this area, and get some lanterns to light this place up, because I think it's gonna look really cool during the night when you've got lanterns hanging down from some of these places, and overall it's gonna have a really nice effect. So let's go to our base, get ourselves all the resources we need, and finish up this project. Welcome back, guys, and as you can see right behind me, we have just finished up the upper section of our beautiful storage room. Look at all those different things up there. Now from here it looks very cluttered and it's very hard to see what's happening, but there's actually part of it. It's meant to look like it was thrown together, like they had a bunch of leftover materials and they just built this. So we're gonna head up there real quick and check it out. So now that we're up here, it probably looks even more confusing, but I'll take you right through this. Mainly right over here, the biggest one here is a massive crane. So it comes down here, you got a bunch of supports coming up here, and then back here you see it's holding this little ball of rock. This is the counterweight, because all the way on the other side, this really long arm, we're holding a bunch of stones down there. Now this is kind of just like representing little cranes holding stuff, getting ready to load it onto boats and stuff like that. So I'm really liking how that looks. Up here we've got a little crate again, kind of like the one we had down at the docks, except this one is smaller, and this is probably where all the stone is being transported. If you're holding any of it up here, it'll be here. People will probably up here operating, so we're around places. We've got some levers right here, we've got one over here, we've got one. On this one we've got a tiny crane, a bit smaller, still has some good details details in it, and I'm really liking the look of it. It doesn't have anything on it right now, but overall it just has a little bit of detail and looks nice. Next to it, we've got this massive tower. Now, this could be some sort of radio tower controlling stuff. Maybe it's here to signal other people where we are. As you can see, there's a lot of these redstone torches acting as little red lights on top of this. So at night, you can just see little spots of red glowing in the distance, kind of just to represent, oh, watch out, planes. There's this massive structure here you have to avoid. And other than that, there's a bunch of other jumble. We've got some crafting tables here. We've got some random little antennas and all that messed around. And it's just meant to look really cluttery and look like there's a bunch of random stuff, but all together, it gives that a very nice effect, and it almost looks like a steampunk effect. It just looks really nice, and I'm really liking how it looks, especially when you're far out in the distance or coming from the shopping district on a boat. Just seeing this here looks amazing. Now, we are missing one thing, and we've been talking about this for a while, but that is the supports, because yeah, this looks ridiculous. Look, there's just these four little things holding up this entire... No, that's not how it works. So, of course, the next thing we're going to have to do is build some supports. So I'm planning on making some U-shaped supports going there, maybe connecting some to the middle. Overall, it should look really cool, and we're going to get right onto those. We just need to collect a bit more wood, and maybe later on we'll expand this platform, have bigger sections coming off of it. But for now, I'm really liking how this turns out. So let's get ourselves some wood and get to work. Look at that, we have just finished the beautiful supports under our base, and now our base looks a lot better now. I did a few things to make this look as good as it does. First of all, I added some more blocks near the connection point so it doesn't look like a single beam going through it, and the beam does go all the way out and comes out at the top with just a little lantern. That way it looks like it is an entire wooden beam and it's going through the thing, and using these staircases, it just gives that look that it is connected and it's not just kind of slid on there. And of course, we've got the very nice looking beams. Look at those. We've got the U-shaped ones, and then since they don't touch the ceiling without hitting the lanterns, we've got even more going into the side of the build. And overall, it's looking really cool. Now, I did want to have some sort of smaller building underneath which connects to the starter base, but it just wouldn't have worked out because there's really no way to do it. But instead, I think it's looking a lot better the way we did it. The only problem right now is we have no way to get up. As you can see, I have to use the same fish system this little fish is using. I have to swim up this water stream every single time, and it just takes away from the look of it. So, we need a solution, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to build a second tower nearby with a ladder going down. That way we can climb up it, because I don't want to have one single ladder going down one of the sides. It'll look really awkward and won't make sense, and I'd have to put it on every single corner, and I don't want to do that. So instead, we are going to build another little tower coming out of the water, equal height, connecting to one of these platforms, and on that we're going to have a ladder which we can just easily climb up, and it should look out beautiful because we won't have to have water, we won't have awkward ladders hanging down, and we'll only have this on its 4 supports, and I think overall it's going to look amazing, and I really just love the look of the crane too hanging down, and it's a really cool build, and I'm just loving the color scheme, the patterns, and all the little details built into there. There we have it, our beautiful, beautiful tower that leads straight into the main storage room. Now, you can see we've got a nice little bridge hanging over, giving that sense that there's actually gravity there, and it's not just a straight plank, because that could look good, but I think it would look really weird just having a straight, so I kind of made it drop down a bit just to give it that natural effect. And of course, we've got our ladder so we can climb up here, since we don't have an elytra yet and we can't just fly straight in. Now, I really like the design of this because it's got a nice stone base, and it kind of looks like a guard tower, maybe in a prison, because you've got the iron bars. It's all stone, and the top it gets a lot bigger, wider, and it just looks really cool overall. So we're going to head up there real quick, and then we're also going to go inside of our beautiful storage room and check out what's in there. 3, 2, 1. Now, as we climb up this ladder, we're reaching the top soon, and there's not much to see. But it still is pretty cool. We used a bunch of the fence gates just to give that nice effect so it does connect with the walls, because the fences don't connect to walls, only fence gates do. So by doing this, we can have everything nice and connected, and we do have little gaps here for the ladder and one for the bridge, which looks absolutely amazing. I love how it turned out, and it's made so you can smoothly walk across it, and you don't have to jump anytime. You can just whoop, go straight into the build. Now, inside here, we've got all our chests, tons and tons of chests. We do have space for an extra row on top if we want. But for right now, I think we're good because we don't have that much yet. Like, this is the dirt chest, which we don't have a lot. Cobblestone, on the other hand, we've got almost half of the system full, so we might need to expand that into somewhere else. We might just make this all cobblestone, or have some other cobblestone storage elsewhere, just because cobblestone is one of those things you get a ton of. Now, if we head upstairs, this is kind of the place where you do all your crafting and all your stuff. So over here, we've got tons of smokers, furnaces, and blast furnaces. We don't have coal in them yet because we are running low on coal, so we're going to have to go mining again. I know I absolutely hate mining, but we're going to have to do it. Right over here, we've just got basic essentials. We've got blacksmith. What is this called? smithing table? Right, yeah, smithing table. Once we get our netherite, we've got cartography, fletching, and what is this called? Loom. There we go. I know my words. Of course, we've got ourselves a grind. That's not a grindstone. This is a stone cutter. There you go. Definitely didn't look at the name. Now, anvil, crafting tables. Now, we do have this spot left over because I just couldn't think of anything else. I'm thinking we will have potions, but we'll just put that on top here since it's not really blocking any of these tables. So we just need to figure out what we want to put here. So if you guys have any suggestions, leave those down in the comments below and we'll use that. But now we have done a ton of work and I think this looks great. I just love the color palette and how it looks really nice compared to what we had before, especially since how massive this is. Guys, look at our tiny puny little starter base, and then you turn and just look at this. And I absolutely love just walking across the desert and seeing this massive, really cool looking, almost industrial kind of building in the distance, especially with all the cool tools on top. It looks like an oil rig, and that's kind of what we're going for. So I'm super happy about how this turned out. And overall, it is looking absolutely amazing. The supports look great. The arches turned out perfectly. And this entire build just got a really nice feel to it. And if you load the chunks at the shopping district, you can actually see this from the shopping district and see the shopping district from here. So overall, this turned out perfectly, and I'm loving the feel that we're getting from our base. Now, before the end of this episode, we have one last thing to finish up, and it is another build because this is a very build-filled video. Build-filled. That sounds great. That's very. Try saying that 10 times fast. Anyway, up here on this beautiful piece of land, because this land, all the land we own is beautiful, but this place especially, it deserves a special treatment because we built this dock down here and we have this little island which is connected to with nothing here. And we were talking about making some sort of fishing dock or something like that. And what we're going to do is do exactly what we said. We're going to build ourselves a beautiful fishing house. And this is a long overdue build because this is something we should have built the second we build the docks. So what I'm planning to do is kind of the same style as this, keeping with the wood style, building a nice little house, maybe adding some diorite, because I have a lot of that, and even though diorite's a weird block to build with, it does look very good if used correctly, so we might go for that look. And I'm thinking we're probably going to have another crane because we don't really have a crane on the dock right now, so having a crane here would look really cool, and maybe it'll be hanging on this edge, and we can have boats coming around here too, but we'll really have to see how it turns out. But for now, we're going to start planning and making a foundation to see what our build's going to look like when it's done. Welcome back, everyone, and right behind me on the beautiful docks, you will see that we've got ourselves a nice little house starting to pop up. Now, this is going to be kind of a two-segmented building. Now, first of all, I have already connected up to the path just so we don't forget to do that. Looks very nice. I'm liking the path so far. We've got a very subtle staircase, and this is actually supposed to be, is it's elevated off the ground with this stone. And we've got a major big room here, and then over here we're going to have another door, which representation. There we go. Beautiful. Totally 100% efficient. We're going to leave this door here forever. But pretty much you'll be able to come through the door into here, which will be a little tower. So this building's going to have one floor, and the tower's going to have two floors, which is going to be a tiny bit taller. And I'm thinking that right over here, we're probably going to have some sort of dock extending out onto the water. Maybe just pretend to be like a fishing dock, places where people would come to fish. And then this would be more of a cargo dock instead of the fishing dock we originated it to be. But overall, I don't know how it's going to turn out because we haven't made many plans for it. I'm going to stick with a spruce theme for this one just because we don't have much spruce on this dock, and I think it would be really nice to just have a spruce building. Fit in very nice with the massive and also beautiful. Have I mentioned it's beautiful? I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it's beautiful already. I'm pretty sure I have, but it is beautiful, and I'm super happy how it turned out. So now let's hope that this building turns out beautiful too, and let's get to work on it. As we come down the path, we'll see the beginning of our beautiful new fisherman's hut, and this is looking absolutely amazing. Now, I did use a few new blocks, a few different styles. As you can see, we've got some composters in some areas just to get a different color. I don't know if I like that because it's very weird and it just stands out. So we might have to change that or put something like a sign on there just to make it more subtle. We've got barrels here. Again, we put signs on here, and I'm thinking we might just take a sign and put it on these. We have these pretty much all the way around on each of the corners, so for me, they kind of stand out right now, but we might change those later on. Right here's the main entrance. We got a little staircase coming up here, and we can come right inside where we don't have anything yet. I've got a few lanterns hanging from the ceiling, but we'll be able to put some different stuff in here. Probably a few barrels for storage. This could be where we actually store our fishing stuff, and maybe just anything else. We could have this like a sand storage for sand, sandstone, and all those materials. That could be cool. I like that idea. Over here, we just got a little balcony. Very simple. Not really has any purpose. It just looks nice. We're going to put lanterns here once we get more iron because we have a terrible drought of iron. No iron to be seen anywhere in any of my chests. These nuggets, those 3 nuggets are the last ones I have. Now if we move back here, this is the door leading into the tower, so we haven't built this yet, and that's what we're going to build right after this. As you can see, it's going to come right here. Now the roof looks weird because right here is where this tower is going to come up and past it. So for now it looks weird that it just kind of stops, but soon it's going to look normal and it's going to be perfect and lined up with our beautiful tower. And of course we've got a little back door here if we want to come out the back, just a little staircase. Now we're going to have to check out the top, but to do that we're actually going to go into our starter base. So I'll be back with you guys in a quick second. And there we have it. Now that we are up here on the starter base, we can see that our roof looks beautiful. We've got a mix of dark oak, 3, 2, 1. Now that we're up here in our star base, we can see that our roof is looking absolutely great from up here. It is just dark oak blocks, and they go really well with the spruce just together. They have that nice contrast, but they're not too different that it looks weird. I was thinking about using sandstone and more colors like that just to get a little, like, almost yellowish white roof, but I just think that would not have looked as good as it would, and it would just kind of stood out. So it looks really nice from here now. These beams are coming across look really awkward, so I'm thinking we might have to put some slabs on there just to give it another little depth. We can just like hop down here and maybe slab here, and then have that all the way across just to give it a little extra detail. But overall, I'm really loving the style of this and how it's not perfect. It looks like it's maybe a bunch of sticks and planks placed on top here. It's really old, maybe decaying, and that's what really gives it a nice look. So this roof turned out perfectly, and I'm really liking it. But now we have to work on the tower next to it. Now for this, we're going to stick same theme, same style, and we're going to have the same black palette, and we're just going to build up, make it about 2 stories tall, probably a few 5 or 4 blocks higher than this tower right now, and overall it should look really cool just overlooking the docks. And so far I'm really loving how it looks, and I do like how it's elevated, and we do have this little staircase just coming up here. It's not very tall, but it just has that, I don't know what it is about it, but I really enjoy that. So let's get worked on this tower, and then hopefully our turns out beautiful, and we'll have a very nice finish to our little island here. There we have it. We have just finished up the beautiful fishing cabin, and altogether this looks great. I love how it's elevated off the ground and has that support made out of rock, because it kind of makes sense. You couldn't just place a bunch of wood on sand. You need kind of supports going deep into the ground, making a nice foundation, so that really gives it that little aspect of realism. And overall it just goes perfectly with the dock, since it's pretty much the same style. Now what's nice is the dock was mostly oak and this is mostly spruce, so it kind of changes it up, and it has all of the 3 kind of darker wood palettes. We don't have all the other weird wood because I'm going to tell you, the other wood types, those wood types are weird. We don't use them. We don't talk about those here. No, we don't talk. These are the best wood types, not a doubt about it. But overall, I'm loving it, especially the roof, which just looks like it's a thatched roof, just because of the different textures, especially having the dark oak without being stripped. It just gives it like a bunch of sticks or a bunch of hay almost, you could imagine it as, being placed on there. And overall, it looks really good, and I'm loving how it turned out. And at night, it looks really cool just having it lit up out here on this tiny little island and next to our beautiful storage room. I think this turned out amazing, and it looks really nice. It's a nice compliment because we just had a random flat island here and it looked really awkward, so now it looks great. I still haven't decided what we want to put in here, but for now it's a very good looking building, and we'll have to decorate it and put some stuff in there once we decide what we want to use this for. If you guys have any ideas what we can use this building for, if you wanted to use storage, I was thinking maybe store sand in there because it's kind of on a beach and we could store our sand in there. But if you guys have any ideas, let me know down in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed this build as much as I did. I'm afraid we've just about run out of time for this episode, so if you guys enjoyed, please let me know down in the comments. If you have any suggestions for next episode, let me know as well, and don't forget to subscribe. And without further ado, I'll see you next time. Bye!